I love my Centro knitting machine, and I'm going to show you how to use it. So first, you select either tube knitting, which just goes round and round and round and round and makes a tube, or panel knitting. Now, in order to click it up to panel, you need to make sure that this white needle is just to the left of the yarn feeder. Otherwise, it won't click up to the panel. And then I'm going to do tube knitting because I like it better. You take your yarn and you leave a nice tail here and you hook it here on this white needle. That's your first needle. And then you slowly turn and you want to hook it under every other needle. Make sure you don't do every needle or it'll just fall out the bottom. I found that out the hard way. So you go through and you do every other needle all the way around until you get back to this white needle. So you want to go under the white needle, and then after you've passed the white needle, it's on the right side of your yarn feeder. You take your yarn and tuck it through the yarn feeder, and then you decide which of these tensioner notches you want it in. This is kind of a medium-ish weight yarn, so I'm going to put it in that middle one. If it was a really thin yarn and I wanted a really tight tension, I could go through the thin and the middle one and the loose one, and that provides the most tension for whatever yarn you're working with. Now, this does not work with really thick yarns. Actually, this could be in the thinnest yarn. Okay, so then you just make sure that it's actually under the needle and make sure it's sitting down properly in that little notch there, that channel. And then you just gently and slowly for the first couple of rounds go round and round and round. And it does say make sure that you go slowly for the first several rounds to make sure that all of the needles are catching properly. And the reason why this is kind of jerking like that is because I have it set on the tightest tension hole. Once I put it into the less tension hole, it will have less of a tendency to do that. And then that white needle tells you that you've gone all the way around. And you just go round and round and round and round and round. Just like that. Make sure you have your yarn nice and loose here. And then this is your counter. You can see I've already gone 3 rounds, and it'll just count it up every time I go past that white needle there. It clicks over so that you can tell how many rounds you've done. So I'll see you in a minute or two after I've gotten some more of this project done. So you can see here I've done 11 rows, and you kind of pull down there. I am using Red Heart Super Saver yarn, so this yarn does not have a ton of give to it. It's not a really stretchy yarn, but it's going to make a really sturdy type of fabric here. Now you can see as I'm doing this, it kind of has a tendency to wiggle around a little bit. So this actually has suction cups, which secures it to the table, which is super helpful if you're working on a solid surface. This is not a super solid flat surface, so it's not securing on here nicely. But that's how you work with the Centro machine.